Well, hi friends, Scott Longyear from scottlongyear.com. You know, if you're anything like me, you have in your life worries and anxiety, and you have big worries coming from big problems, you have little worries coming from little problems, and medium size and all in between, but life is full of worries. But what do you do with the big worries in your life? Well, stick around, because I think God may have something to say to us that's going to help us with those big worries. So Psalm chapter 93 and verse 4 says this: "Mightier than the thunder of the great waters, mightier than the breakers of the sea, the Lord on high is mighty." Now, I don't know if you've ever been around the ocean or not, but I've been very privileged and had great opportunity to be around the ocean quite a bit, and especially when it comes to the bigness of the ocean and the waves breaking. I remember one specific instance. We were on a small island off the coast of Australia, an island called Straddie. And as we were there, they had huge cliffs, and we were watching waves come in on these cliffs. And I actually took some pictures because there were some people standing on top of these cliffs, and I got a reference of how small the people were and how huge these waves were that were coming and breaking on the rocks. And it was one of those moments where I was like, man, that's huge. That's amazing, the power that's in all that, the bigness of all that, and we're just so small. And then I read things like this, that mightier than the thunder of the great waters, and mightier than the breakers of the sea, the Lord on high is mighty. And so as I read that, I think, you know what? The worries and anxiety in my life sometimes kind of overtake me, and they become really, really big in my life. Maybe you have some big worries in your life, worries of relationship or unemployment or underemployment or health issues or whatever issues they might be, and they seem like they're huge. And sometimes, honestly, it seems like our problems are bigger than God. Well, how big is He? He's bigger than the thundering, it says, than the thundering of the great waters. And if He's that big, then He's bigger than my worries and bigger than my problems. Now, sometimes I'll hear people say, you know, well, my God is bigger than that. Well, my God is bigger than that. Which is true. And what they're saying is that my God's bigger than that problem, and He's going to solve that problem. Or my God's bigger than this anxiety, and He's going to solve that anxiety. And here would just be my challenge. Even if He doesn't solve the problem the way that you want to, even if He doesn't heal the relationship like you want to, even if He doesn't calm things like you want them to be calmed, He's still bigger. He's still bigger. See, I think the question in our life is just, who are we going to recognize as who is the bigger? So here's my challenge, and this is something that I've been doing. As anxiety comes up in my life, I'll pray and I'll say, God, I thank You that You're bigger than that issue right there. God, I thank You that You're bigger than this health issue. God, I thank You that You're bigger than this little financial crisis that I got going on right now. God, I thank You that You're bigger than the questions that I have. God, I thank You that You're bigger than this relationship. And You may choose to do things and heal them the way that I want them to be healed, or You may not, but You still are bigger. So my challenge is to say that, to say, God, you're bigger. And I'm encouraged by 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 7 that says this: cast your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. Cast your anxiety on Him, because if you're like me, most of the time that anxiety comes, we cast all of our energy and we cast all of our anxiety on solving the problem or healing the relationship or taking care. And we work this big plan, which we need to. We need to take care of that. But we cast all of our anxiety on that. And the Lord says, no. You're casting it on that because you think that's the biggest thing in your life. And it's not the biggest thing in your life. I am the biggest thing in your life. How big am I? Big. And so He says, cast all of your anxieties on Him. Not on the problem or on the solution, but on Him. So this week, may you say, God, You're bigger than. God, thank You that You're larger than. And I look forward to hearing the things that God does in your life as you cast all of your cares and all of your anxieties, not on your problems, but on Him.